Hey guys!
Hey guys!
We're back with another sci-fi review, this time reviewing Childhood's End, Episode 2, titled The Deceivers. If you haven't seen that episode yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. One of the things I really love about Childhood's End is each episode has kind of a different emotional thread going through it.
Yeah.
Like the first episode the first episode was very hopeful.
Yes.
And this second episode, like every line of dialogue, every look, everything had the music, everything had a very sinister undertone.
Yeah, like as you're watching it, it evokes certain emotions, and this one here evoked us like betrayal and deception, and it was just incredible. Even
to the point where for a couple of minutes there you're almost sympathetic to Peretta.
Yeah.
Even though you know she is not the protagonist in this situation, she is in the wrong.
Yeah.
You can almost see where she's coming from and sympathize with her.
Yeah.
The very first thing I noticed about this episode was Imagine. There was the cover of Imagine by John Lennon in the very beginning of the episode. And it's just, if you're familiar with that song at all, it was the perfect song to open this episode with.
Absolutely perfect, yeah.
Imagine no religion.
Even the cover that they used was very hopeful, and it kind of brought in the hope from the first episode, and then they just kind of slowly brought it down.
That hope fell away and the sinister came in.
Yeah, it's like they opened it with the hope from the first episode, but then the music from then, after Imagine, it was all very sinister.
And dark and foreboding. So several years have gone by, and Corellin goes back to visit Ricky, and it's been a while since they've spoken. And
like 20-some years.
Yeah, and Corellin apologizes to Ricky, and we're not really privy to right away what he's apologizing for.
Yeah, but we do find out that it's because he's discovered that his ship actually poisoned Ricky, and so now he's going to get sick. His organs and stuff are going to shut down, which at first I was like, why didn't he just meet Ricky, like, in the barn as Annabelle? Like, he didn't need to go up to the ship. But then afterwards, we kind of find out that he's been bringing animals and they're sending them somewhere. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe the animals are getting sick. And so now he's like, oh, shoot, maybe Ricky's getting sick too. Like, maybe he didn't know. Wasn't but the whole episode has this deception theme and feeling going on, so you just feel like he deceived Ricky.
Like he just didn't tell him that, hey, thanks for coming up for all those years and visiting with me. By the way, you're going to get cancer and die. And I knew about it the whole time.
That's like how it felt at first, but then as the episode went on, and then as we watched the third one, I was like, oh, okay, I bet he found out and he just felt really bad about it.
And not only that, we find out that Corellin sterilized Ricky so he can't have children. And again, it's one of those things that comes across as kind of sinister and evil, but it was actually, he was doing Ricky a real favor. Because he didn't want to he didn't want Ricky to have to experience the loss of his children as they left Earth. Just in those kind of things throughout this episode, it was really fun to watch. Because, okay, on one hand, this seems really, really evil, but on the other hand, he's actually doing a good thing. Yeah,
and some of them you realized in the episode, and some of them you don't, and then you watch the third one, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah. But it's just the whole episode was made with, like, it's just everything, the sound, the dialogue, everything was made to make you believe that they were deceiving Earth.
Yeah. And of course, the name of the episode is The Deceivers. And the people or at least some of the people are starting to believe that the overlords are deceptive and they are evil. And I think just the techniques they use with the music and even the lighting to kind of project that onto the viewer, it was really done very, very well.
Like the whole episode, I was like, oh crap, I really liked these, overlords at first, now I'm not so sure. The one thing I did not like And it had nothing to do with the episode. It's just me as a person. If I was living there, the thing that would have bothered me was that science died. I love science. Mm-hmm. So, like, if they came and they got rid of science, I would be
So you would have been basically the Milo character.
Yeah, I would have been Milo, yeah. And even, like, when Milo was talking to him and was like, why did you stop science? And he says, you know, there's things that you're about to discover that would ruin humanity. And I'm like, who are you? You've discovered it and it didn't ruin you, so who are you to tell me that I can't discover it and that it would ruin me? Like, I would totally be the Milo character. Like, no!
So the children are changing, they're evolving.
Yes. Like, scarily evolving.
Yeah, like the casting of Tommy, absolutely perfect casting, because that kid was super creepy.
Yes, he was very creepy.
And kids in general are just kind of creepy anyway. Yeah. You see, 300 of them standing out in the street looking at the sky, and that's the scariest thing ever. And so the children are changing, and they're developing basically abilities. Like Tommy telepathically throws his dad, Jacob, across the garage into the wall.
And he talks to his baby sister who is inside his mom.
Yeah, still unborn.
Yeah. Which, mad props on them, because the ultrasound scene was almost spot on. Like, it was an appropriate aged baby on the ultrasound screen to where she was. I was like, yes!
Which is like,
it doesn't
never
happen.
the case.
No, it never happens. The only thing she was going like this the whole time as she was scanning, but the picture wasn't moving. No. Alright, so you messed that up. But props on having an appropriately aged baby on the monitor.
They did their research, which nobody ever does.
Yes. And even when she's like, "Oh, is that the hand? That actually was the arm." So, I mean, I was like, yes! They did some research. They always mess up the ultrasound in shows.
And the very last thing I want to mention in this video is one little piece of a scene when Peretta goes back to see Jacob and Amy, because she's basically thinks she's figured out what's going on with Tommy, because her cross that she wears around her neck, first of all, it was choking her, and then it like melted and disformed, so she thinks that Tommy's possessed or something. And so she tells Jacob and Amy that she's like, look, I have faith. And they look at her like she has a second head. Yeah, like it's only been 20 some years with the Overlords, and I know aging has slowed. Like, people are not aging like they should. So I imagine that they were probably basically adults when the Overlords came. So they've had religion for a good portion of their life. And now it's just with the Overlords, that's how quickly people who used to have religion no longer had it. That was really fascinating to me. Like, they're utterly shocked that she... Yeah. And what the thing is, though, she was wearing that cross the whole time, so they would have seen it. So the fact that she has faith really shouldn't have been a surprise to them. Yeah, no, it shouldn't. But they were utterly shocked. Although there are people who will wear something like that because it was a family member's, like it was their grandmother's or their mother's, and so they wear it even though they don't have... Yeah. Sometimes just for decoration, sometimes it's sentimental value. Yeah. But all in all, really, really enjoyed episode 2 of Childhood's End. Yes, me too. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Stay tuned for our review of episode 3 of Childhood's End coming very, very soon. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, we certainly hope you did. Be sure to let us know by clicking that like button and subscribe for more reviews. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.